What is up, y'all? Renal Warrior over here. I know it's been a long time, and I know I was supposed to do a reflection piece a little bit earlier, but I apologize for coming back to you guys so late. There was a few setbacks, and then also had to fly out to Vegas to actually give a talk to raise more awareness for kidney disease and transplantation. But I'm back now and able to gather my thoughts together. I wanted to just really do this video and reflect on what we just accomplished here. Now, what is this? This is the Warrior Ride. Hashtag the Warrior Ride. What is this? The Warrior Ride is myself, a kidney patient that's on dialysis, riding my bike from the San Francisco Bay Area all the way down to San Diego, California. Now, the other thing is, why is that so significant? I am a kidney patient. I am on dialysis. If you haven't heard my story yet, check out some of my other posts or read my or watch my video on YouTube. You know, when I was diagnosed 2 years ago, in a nutshell, when I was diagnosed 2 years ago, I was 315 pounds, unable to move, unable to walk, was stuck in a wheelchair. And, you know, at the time, the doctor said I didn't qualify for a transplant. I needed to lose 100 pounds. And at the time, it seemed impossible, just because I was in so much pain. And, you know, little by little, we actually got to a point where we just did the Warrior Ride, where we rode our bike down the coast of California. So that's why it's significant. Who did we do this for? Who is this message for? Now, number one, it's for everybody who's ever been affected by kidney disease. So all the patients that are out there that are currently on dialysis, anybody with kidney disease, stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, their families, everybody that knows somebody that's going through this ride was for you. This ride was for your loved one. It's for everybody that's ever been affected. Now, really, who this message was for was, the whole time in my mind, I was thinking about when I was laying down in the nursing home, unable to move, and the doctor said in order to get a transplant, which prolongs survival, I would have to lose that 100 pounds. And at the time, again, I thought it was impossible. And I was searching for a hero that was losing the weight while on dialysis so that they can qualify for transplant. I couldn't find anybody. And now that I've done it, I'm looking so that the next person who's actually in the nurse's office and getting told that information, that they just got stage 5 and they think that it's not worth living, or they think that they don't want to go through a dialysis, I'm here to show them that you can still move mountains even still while on dialysis. Now, we're going to get into some of the technical things. How long did I train for? I trained for this ride for probably, right now we're in October, I trained for this ride since January. So it was a vigorous training regimen. I would, most of my days that were off dialysis, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, I would start off my day with CrossFit. After I would do CrossFit, I would have a private session of boxing. After that, would come home, eat, and then rest a little bit. And then for the rest of the afternoon, 4, 5, 6 hours, I would ride my bike. That was life for a majority of the time. Now, this Warrior Ride was supposed to happen back in May. However, I had the surgery on my arm. It was an unexpected surgery, and that put me out for 6, 7 weeks. And so we didn't want to do it in the summer. It might have been a little bit too hot. So that's why we pushed it over to October, and we just completed it. So that is pretty much in a nutshell why we did it and what it was. Now, ride summary. First off, how long was it? It was total about 550 some odd miles. You're looking at climbing about a little over 22,000 feet. Who went on the ride? So the first day we rode from San Jose to Alameda, which is about 55 miles, and we had about 9 people that rode that day. And afterwards, I pretty much rode on my own up until the last day. We had Natalia from Renal may come out, and she rode with me that final day. We had a few people that came along the way. We have Brian Simagala, Alejandro Wilkins, Jerry Kith. Brian, Alejandro are working on the documentary that we have going on right now. Jerry was the driver. We have Jeff Tantoko, who was a jack of all trades. He's producing this video right now. He was the driver when we needed. He was the audio guy. He was the medic. He was everything. So, you know, we had a whole team to help set this production up. We had Natalia and her team doing a lot of the social media things. Jerry not only drove, but he took pictures just behind the scenes, and obviously Alejandro and Brian were working on the documentary. Brian helped also coordinate a lot of the dialysis clinics with Mikey, my social worker over at Satellite Healthcare. And so it really took a whole village to make this ride happen. Some of the setbacks, so again, we're just going over some of the technical things, some of the setbacks that we've had. In the beginning, I was like, rah, 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 everything, let's go, let's go, let's go. Towards the end, it was rah, rah, rah. I was getting beat down over it took 2 weeks to complete, and was a little tired towards the end. There was a couple times where I felt sick while riding. I think that Jeff caught it on Facebook Live. He went live, and it happened to be when I think I was throwing up. That was a pretty tough moment. But overall, it was a difficult ride. It wasn't like a sprint where you're tired from getting your heart rate up and you're just huffing and puffing. It was just more a constant beatdown day in, day out. We were riding as little as 4 to 5 hours, depending on climbing, and as long as close to 9 hours on certain days. The scenery, oh gosh, it was breathtaking. It was breathtaking. Most beautiful ride that I can think of was from Santa Cruz going over to the Bixby Bridge over at Big Sur. We went through the 17-mile drive. That was gorgeous. And then onto the Bixby Bridge, the cliffs, the water, the ocean air. You can smell it. You can taste it in your mouth as you're riding. You can hear the waves crash against the rocks. And it's just surreal. And the cliffs are so big. We drive by these things so many times, and you just, some of the videos that you'll see, the pictures that you'll see, does not do it justice. As far as the clinics, I dialyzed along the route over the course of 2 weeks over at a few different clinics. Most of the clinics welcomed me with open arms. From the nurses, the techs, some of them knew I was coming, which made my day. We were able to talk to some of the patients, and just that alone right there, the trip made it worth it to be able to talk to some of these patients. We met some people where their eyes just lit up, and that was so important to me. We had a gentleman in Capitola where he just started surfing, and he said that one of his goals and dreams was to do Mavericks, and that now that he sees that I'm able to complete a ride to San Diego, or if I'm able to complete this ride, it gave him hope that he can do Mavericks one day. And that meant the world. That means he can live again. We met so many people. There was a gentleman, as we were riding through Malibu, I rode through Malibu, and it was by Pepperdine University. His name was James, and he saw the van that we were that we had, and it had the hashtag the Warrior Ride, hashtag Renal Warrior. And you might have saw some of the live videos with him. He came and he met me the next day, and he mentioned that he was terrified of going through he was stage 3 kidney disease, and he was terrified of going through stage 5, and that he didn't think that he wanted to maybe move forward with that. But because he saw how strong we were and what we were doing, that it gave him strength to be able to go through with it once that time came. And again, that meant the world. And the whole time I was thinking this: people that are relatively healthy, some of you that are watching this out there, you have a million hopes and dreams. You have these goals, you have this career goal, you want to travel here, you want to eat this, you want to do this, you want to do that. A person that's chronically ill only has one wish, and their wish is to live. And a lot of times when you have something like stage 5 end stage renal disease pop up, and you have to go through dialysis, you feel that that's been taken away. But what we've just done is what we just proved through the Warrior Ride is that even though you're on dialysis, you can still move mountains and you can still live. And that's the importance of it. And there's a dozen stories that I can tell you along this route of people that we've met. Alyssa over at Redondo Beach, we came and, the first thing when we saw her, she broke down in tears and I gave her a hug and she said, you don't know what you've done for me and my family. And that touched my heart. That really spoke to me. And it really made me feel that we were doing something right. So just the people that were able to inspire through this ride was just tremendous, and it meant the world. And it's more fulfilling than any amount of money that you can ever make. The other people that we met, the techs and the nurses, for the most part, everybody had a passion of what they were doing. We had Cherie over in Capitola, who chose this specific line of work as a nurse because she wanted to build relationships and make a difference with patients, and that spoke a lot to me. That's very important for a nurse to, you can be a nurse in the hospital, you can be a nurse here and there, but she chose it specifically because she knew that she can make a change and develop relationships with these patients, which a lot of the patients we really need. So I commend her for that. We had Laura over in Salinas, and she knew we were coming. She sent a note on social media saying, "Hey, I happened to pick up the phone. I knew that you were coming." That was exciting. There were, everybody in there was very welcoming. For the most part, almost all the nurses and the techs were welcoming. They knew we were coming. They knew we were filming, and they let the patients know. And some of the patients were giving me a cross and telling me, hey, keep on living. It was just the atmosphere of all these people and being able to talk to everybody. Oh man, it just filled my heart up. So many things. Now, it's difficult to summarize the ride. It's so many things that happen. It was physically taxing. It was emotionally draining. It was exhausting mentally. But, by the time we were done, I tell a lot of people this, is that I haven't been to church in 20 years. I'm not that religious. But the past couple of years, it seems that, a higher power has been showing up in my life. And after this ride, I can't deny that a higher power exists. From the things that I've seen, the people that I've met, I know there's a higher power that exists. None of this was by coincidence. It was by design. To really end this whole thing is just, we made it. We're showing the world, and we're showing other patients that you can still move mountains. Even in face of adversity. You don't need a kidney to do that. And even if you're sitting on the chair, whatever your adversity is in your life, as long as you have a plan and you have a goal and you work towards it, it might take you a little bit longer, but you can still make it. If I can do this, you can do this also. So many people again, I said earlier, it takes a village to make this thing happen. And so many people help put this thing together, immediately on the production team. Again, you got Jeff, Brian, Alejandro, Jerry, Natalia, her team, all made this happen so that all I had to do was focus on the ride. So, and Min, who's our cyclist coach, who actually mapped out the route for us. So that was, the whole village. It takes a village. And so I thank you to them. All my family, all my friends that have been there with me throughout the whole time, gave me support, moral support, came and talked to me, came and visited me when I was in the hospital, and gave me hope to know that who I was fighting for. So I thank you very much. All the supporters of the page Renal Warrior and Instagram Renal Warrior 2016, all of you actually, the comments and just your personal notes throughout the ride kept me going. It reminded me why we were doing this ride. There was times I wanted to quit, but I didn't. Last but not least, all the donors for the GoFundMe, we're still fundraising. So, you know, if it, you know, no amount's too big, no amount's too small, you know, we still came out of pocket for this ride. We still need your help with it. But all the donors so far, thank you so much. It meant so much, and it's going to take us a long way. But, you know, how did I feel afterwards? I felt a little empty. You trained for a long time. You had this big goal. And now this goal's been fulfilled. And what's next? So many things. We have the documentary that we're working on right now. Hopefully that will be, we're still fundraising for that, and we still need a lot of help with that. But we have the footage. We have probably hundreds, if not thousands of hours of footage. We need to get that together. So the documentary, watch out for that documentary when it comes out. There is, you know, maybe a book's in order, but so many things. I'll keep you guys updated on the goals. But, you know, really, just, we did it. It's emotional at the same time to think that at one point I was laying down in the hospital, not able to move. And here we are, just completed this ride. That's who we are. We're renal warriors, and we're strong as heck. So don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't do anything, because we can do it. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Peace.